Okay. So based on what we just discussed, if this IN wasn't there, you all know what to do. Okay? Excellent. And an equality has an equal sign. All right? So an inequality must not have an equal sign. You guys know them by this. You don't really know them by this. You know them by Pac-Man, or the hungry alligator, or some other thing that your grade 6, 3, 4 teacher called them. Not their name. I, of course, call them by their name, because this is math class, not Sesame Street. So, less than. That's what that symbol is. Less than. If you need to remember how to remember it, it points left. L for less, L for left. Okay? What are some other words in English that mean less than?
Subtract.
Minus. Subtract.
So this is practically
Division.
Take away.
Division.
No. Nobody can think of any more.
remove.
Withdraw. Remove.
Yeah.
Diminish. There's a million of them, aren't there?
Destroy.
I suppose. Okay. So in math, we are talking about smaller quantities. Yes? In math, this means smaller values. Which means, where do they live on the number line? Not necessarily.
Left.
Left. Okay? They exist to the left of any point on the number line. Everybody cool?
Yes.
All right. Less than or equal to. What does that mean?
So it can be equal to or less than.
Right. So it is less than and including
So it could be to the left or not.
any point. Now, let me ask you this. Would you consider that to be a maximum or a minimum?
Minimum. Maximum.
You're just saying them both, James. Which is it?
Maximum.
It is, of course, a maximum, because everything else would be less than that, wouldn't it? So this is a maximum. In math, we also call it a limit. This sign puts a limit on your answers.
So like a speed limit.
Exactly.
But people don't obey, so they go over.
Now,
And you get the wrong answer.
you guys are smart kids. Less than is smaller values, so greater than must be greater. And where do they live?
And
Right.
to the right, to the right.
They are to the right. And this is obviously greater and including, which makes it a
Maximum.
no,
Minimum.
a minimum. Okay? That is what those four symbols mean. They are the only thing that is going to change from an equality to an inequality. Okay? So, let's make sure you can actually do this.
It's the speed limit.
There are two jobs right here. One, define a variable. What do you think it means, Ms. Adams?
It's a popular linear formula for converting
what you want on top of the fraction, what you don't want on the bottom of the fraction. No, trying to get back to where I was. Oh yes, defining a variable. Do not tell me the definition of the word variable. That is not what I want. I want a variable for this question. So what do you think that means, Karina? First of all, tell me what a variable is. No. No. That is an example of a variable.
It's a letter representing an unknown number.
Does it have to be a letter?
No, it could be a
Yes.
big symbol.
It is some symbol representing an unknown number, yes?
Yeah.
All right. So, what would be a good letter to represent the situation in A?
S.
S. So, S equals that is defining a variable. What did I do? Chose a letter, chose a variable, I should say, because it doesn't have to be a letter, chose a variable, and said what it meant. Okay, now, S is my unknown number, correct? Everybody cool? When I get in my car and I drive, how fast am I allowed? No, I don't want to ask that yet. What do you call, what is the one word for how fast I am going? It is a speed. Understand? And speed, when I get in my car, if I see that sign, must be what?
A limit.
It's limited to what?
The amount of
60. So my speed must be what? Equal to 60. So I sit in my car, I turn on the engine, and I'm going 60?
No, you must.
No, limited.
Less than or equal to 60. Does everybody understand? Are there any other rules for that?
Yeah.
Yes, there is. Think about it. I'm going to draw a number line and see if you can figure out the next thing you need to write there. There's 0. There's 60. My speed must be what? Less than, which is in what direction? Left. So all of these speeds are cool, yeah?
You can't be negative.
I can't have a negative speed.
You'd have to be going backward.
Right. So S must be less than 60,
But limited to 0.
but it must be above 0. So S must also be greater than or equal to 0 for this case. Does everyone understand how less than and greater than work? It's easy, right? Okay. Here's the next question. You must be 16 years old to get a driver's license. What's a good variable?
Y is 16.
Y equals years.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right? And if you're going to get a license, Y must be, it can't be before 16,
But it has
so Y must be
Greater than.
greater than
16.
or equal to
6.
16. Does everyone see how it works?
Yes.
Now, does this have an upper limit?
Yeah. No.
No, because everybody dies at a different time, yeah?
Yeah.
I can't set an upper limit on that, can I? So I'm okay. Is everybody Gouda?
Ass cheese.
It's pretty easy, right? Okay.
Connor made a pun.
So, now you guys just put the correct symbol in the blank. Don't say it out loud, just read the question and see if you can figure it out. So this is what you've got to turn into math. That's saying you're turning it in to a statement, just like what we did here. That's the saying, that's the statement. You try to do it there. Don't say it out loud. Give everybody plenty of time to think about it. James is doing some Jeopardy music for us, even though it's not really the Jeopardy theme.
That was saying.
Okay. In English, for temperatures less than 0, make sure you wear warm clothing. So when do you want to put your warm clothing on? When the temperature is what?
0 or less.
0 or less? Or less than 0? Which is it?
1.
Less than 0. So do I want an equal sign? No, because it is less than 0. It is not equal to 0. The question says, when it's less than 0, I want to put on my warm clothing.
Yes.
Now, look at the next one. The highest temperature we had this week was 12. Did we get to 12?
Yes.
Yes. So all my temperatures this week are
Greater.
the highest temperature we've had this week was 12. So every temperature was 12 or lower, correct?
Yes.
So the temperatures have been less than and equal to 12. I see everybody writing now.
Is greater or less?
Is greater less?
Less.
How can greater be less, Omar? Greater means more. I have 2 toilet paper rolls here. You have none. My toilet paper roll collection is greater than yours.
Boom.
Your toilet paper roll collection is less than mine. Okay?
And I.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Here is an inequality. That inequality is written as x less than or equal to 3, which means what in English? X is what?
Variable number.
Some number, right? So I need some number
Greater than?
that's what?
Greater? No, less than. Less than.
It points left. Some number that's less than or equal to
3. So
3.
0 and negative.
So, yes, you all know it from looking at it, but we have to prove it mathematically. There is 0. Where is 3?
3 is.
To the right.
3 to the right. Everybody cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to put a red arrow at 5. Where is 5?
In
1
the
is 2 times
little.
3.
There. Correct?
Yes. 2 balls.
There's 5. I'm going to put a blue arrow at 3.
That's 3.
There's 3.
Was
I'm going to put a green arrow at 0.
Exactly.
And I'm going to put a gray arrow at negative 2. What are the 3 that fit?
Negative 2, 0, and 3.
Negative 2, 0, and 3. Because they are all left of or at the point we care about. Everybody good there?
Yeah.
Please notice that we are going in absolute baby steps, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you allowed to forget which direction less than greater than points?
No.
No. Are you allowed to forget that things on the left are lower and things on the right are bigger? No. Are you allowed to forget what the term equals means? No. Okay.
So you're not going to forget any of this?
So here we go. Is 8 a solution of this? What is that in English?
F.
You don't have to say it, you don't have to write it, because I wrote it right here. That says x is greater than 0. So what do? I find 8. There it is. Right or left of 0?
Right.
Right. So 8
Is greater than.
is a solution because it's bigger.
Yep.
Is everybody with me there? Because I went to the right. Everybody cool?
So where the arrow points?
We're going to come to that now. The next part is the next most important thing. In an equality, how many answers are there? One. In an inequality, how many answers are there? More. How many answers are there?
Infinite.
Infinite. Because how far does that number line go?
Infinite.
Infinity. And every single number that is to the right of 0 is a solution. Does everyone understand that?
That means that there's so many solutions.
Does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
So, what are any 3 numbers that work as a solution other than 8?
7.
100. 7, 10,000, 3 million. Pi,
Really?
the root of 4, 21. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
6, 4, 3.
That is all the background that you need. Now we're going to start actually applying it. Everybody draw me a number line. Put 0 in the middle. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Okay. What does this say in English?
A is left. Wait, no.
A is greater than 0. So I need some number that is greater than 0. Where do those numbers live on a number line? To the right. Everybody cool? Easy peasy, yeah? So, the line that shows the solutions is all of these guys, correct? Is everyone cool with that?
Yes.
Up to positive infinity. Is everyone good? Is everyone good?
Yes.
Okay. Now, draw me another number line. Put 0 in the middle. Tell me what this means.
It could be 0 to a left.
0 or greater.
Some number
Is
that is less than or equal to 0. Everybody cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would that line look like? Down to what? Negative infinity. Is everyone cool with that? Now, what's the problem here?
That 0 is not actually correct because it's touching the 0 meaning that it should be 1.
One of the zeros in both lines, isn't it? Which one is 0 allowed to be in? Why? Because it is equal to 0. So on a number line, math guys needed to invent a way to show whether or not this number actually counts. And here's what they do. In this one, when it's less than, they put an open circle. They do not color it in. What do you think they do on this one?
They put a circle and they color.
They color it in. Does everybody see the subtle difference?
Yes.
So just in your head, answer yes or no to the next few questions I'm going to ask. Everybody ready? Okay. On the red line, is this number allowed? Is everybody ready? Don't say it out loud. 3. Don't say it out loud. We'll try again. I'll say the instructions again. Don't say it out loud. Is this number allowed? 8. Now, everybody say it out loud. Yes or no?
Yes.
Excellent. Is this number allowed? 0.01.
No.
Is 0.01 allowed on the red line? Yes. Because 0.01, 1 penny, is more than no pennies. Is 0.000000000000001 allowed on the red line?
Yes.
Yes. Is 0 allowed on the red line?
No.
No, because 0 is not greater than 0. 0 equals 0.
It's nothing.
Does everyone understand? Okay. So, let's graph these. You should know how to do it already from the example I just gave. I want to see 4 number lines on everybody's page. A, B, C, and D. And below each number line, I want to see 3 numbers that you're allowed to have.
Yes, you a number line.
So, let's do the first one together. There's a number line. What's the only number on it that matters? 5. Now all the numbers I want have to be where? Greater than 5. Where does greater than 5 live?
Right.
To the right. So it's got to be all these numbers. Is 5 allowed?
Yes.
No.
Why not, Liam? It says greater than 5, and 5 isn't greater than 5. 5 is 5. So, what kind of circle? Open or closed? Open. Everybody got it? So, B is pretty easy. Go. Now stop when you've done B and do the second thing I asked you to do, which is tell me 3 numbers that work in A and B. What are any 3 numbers that work in A and B? Are we all going to pick the same numbers? Duh, no. So any 3 numbers that work. How many choices do you have?
A lot.
Infinite. 5.01 72, 112. Are they all okay?
Yeah.
Are they bigger than 5?
Yeah.
Are any of them 5? No, none of them are 5, so I'm okay. What about this one?
Negative 0.02.
No. No.
Negative 1.
Negative 1,
Negative 1.1.
negative 1.1,
Negative 1.1.
all okay. He's absolutely right. The point I'm trying to make is there's infinite amount of right answers here. Now, everybody look at C and tell me what's different.
It starts in negative and then it wants to go to positive number.
Starts with a number instead of a letter.
What? Oh, I didn't notice that.
So let's draw. What's the only number that matters?
N?
Negative 4. Now, what does that say in English? Read this to me in English. Remember, we read left to right.
Negative 4 is equal or
It says negative 4 is
greater
greater than
or equal to n.
or equal to what?
N. But how do we figure out n?
An unknown number.
Does that mean it could be any number? Like
So what does that mean?
it could be any number.
No. Yes, of course it could be any number because it's an inequality, but there's rules. Negative 4 is greater than all these unknown numbers I want. So where do those unknown numbers live? Left of negative 4. Do I color it in?
No. Well, yes.
Yes. That blows your guys' minds because you don't want to draw the arrow the opposite way on the number line than it points. But it makes sense when you say it in English, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is telling me number 4, negative 4 is the biggest number I can have. So all the other numbers must be less than that. Cool? Now that should tell you pretty easily how to do D. What's the only number that matters?
Negative 1.
1.
Negative 1. We circle it. Do we color it?
No.
Why?
Because it's not
Because it's a
equal
greater.
to.
There's no equal. Which way does the arrow go?
That
To the
way.
left.
Right.
To the right, to the right.
Because that in English says negative 1 is less than all the other numbers that I care about. So that means those numbers are bigger. Cool? Now, for those of you that cannot understand the math, there's a little shortcut. If it's letter, symbol, number, you graph the same as the sign. If it's number, symbol, letter, you graph
Awful.
opposite the sign. Cool? Great. Do the next 2. What's the only number that matters?
4.
4. So we circle it. Do we color it?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's equal.
Because it's equal to. Is my letter first?
Yes.
So-
No. Yes.
Which is it, James?
Yes.
Yes. James, you need to do yourself a favor and take a giant breath before you speak every time. Okay? It will help you. Because one day, it may matter what you answer. In math class, it doesn't matter because you know I'm going to help you out. But one day, what you say may matter.
Like elect me, but then elect
So-
you.
Since the letter is first, do we graph the same way?
Four.
Letter, sign, number. Letter, sign, number. Do I graph the same direction as the sign? Yes. The sign points left, so I graph pointing left.
4.
And now, any numbers that line is going to go over will work.
Yes.
How far will that line go to the left? Negative infinity. So how many answers are there? Infinite answers. 3, 2, 1. Done.
Boom.
Got it? Now let's look at the other one. Uh-oh, Mr. Myers didn't put any numbers there. Who's in charge of this number line?
Me.
You are. What's the only number that matters?
Negative.
Negative 3. Can you put it anywhere on that line you want?
Yeah.
Sure you can. I'm going to put it right there.
Whoa.
Then what do I do?
You.
Now you circle.
You circle it because that's the number that our line starts at. Now, is it letter, sign, number, or number, sign, letter?
Number, sign, letter.
So I graph opposite the sign.
Yes.
So, which way does the arrow go?
Left.
That way, so you go that way. Sorry.
1 is going that way, is a negative.
The arrow points left, so you go right. For the reason I've explained 3 times already. This in English says negative 3 is less than x, which means that x is greater than 3. Greater than 3. Okay? Everybody good?
Yep.
That's all you have to do today.
Yep.
You have to know that bigger things live on the right, little things live on the left,
So I have to live on the left.
okay? And you have this page, these 2 pages to figure it out. Yes,
Because it's really simple.
it will not take long. Go.